And I'm sure both of these teams are very eager to continue, getting those dubs on the board. Because again, the stage is short. They need every single win that they can get.
Yeah, for sure. And like, this is one of those situations where it is almost a must-win because it'll make lock and playoffs that much easier. There could be a world if they lose this to TL, then that's where things could get interesting. You want to be going through in that top slot because if you do go through the group in the top position, you only have to win one best of 3 and you lock yourselves a slot at Masters. Yeah. So that is going to be incredibly important, and that is why this match is incredibly huge for Liquid to try and cause an upset and for FUT to try to lock in. Both these teams are going to need this.
Yeah, I think head-to-heads are always important as well. So with currently FUT not having a defeat, that could be one of the only ways that Team Liquid manages to get above them. But yeah, getting into the vetoes, I think it's going to be an interesting one just to see what is actually banned out. FUT taking out Fracture's intriguing to me. Clearly maybe done work elsewhere, but to ban a map that you were 3-0 on is not the norm, but I guess it's the factor of it being a little bit close. I think
this time they are incredibly confident with the lineup that they've brought. They've got a slightly different lineup to the last time these two faced. And the thing was, last week FUT did get rid of Haven. You know, that was their ban last week against Gentlemates, and they're letting it float for the third, even though they got dumpstered last time they met on Haven in that kickoffs game that they played against one another. So that's interesting. The other thing as well, Lotus and Split are maps where both these teams have shown us a lot. There's a lot of reps so far, not only here, also in kickoff. So there is a lot of prep that's probably been done by both of these, and it's going to be a matchup.
Yeah, I think also both teams being fairly favored on their own map choice. The only thing I'd say looking over at FUT, especially as we're going to kick off on Lotus, is their composition again is one where there is a heavy reliance on someone like Zeus, because you don't necessarily have a lot of that setup for him to take space into angles. A lot of those combos you get with utility, he just has to frag out of his mind. And luckily, as we saw, he does pretty much every single week.
It's the thing, though, you have, you know, the unstoppable force against the most insane boulder in Nats, right? He is that Senti that can stop whatever. Okay. Why are we oohing? Oh, we got Waylay!
Yeah, we got Waylay, but also the deadlock coming in. This was something that on Lotus became fashionable for a little bit. The amount of delay that you can have when teams take contact, especially you look at the C site and B, you're normally going to dive into site. So if you dash, sensor goes off, you get stunned, you get trapped by a wall, trapped by a net, and especially with the net now being something that recharges throughout rounds, I'm really excited to see what Serial will do with the deadlock.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Also, the fact that Waylay's been, you know, historically so far activated by a flash agent. There is only the paranoia and nothing else to really let the Waylay go forward other than the dashes itself. So maybe they're going to utilize that for more information along with the Teo, but I guess we'll see once we get into this one.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see how Team Liquid is going to utilize this composition. I mean, the last few times we saw them on Lotus, they had a Clove in the mix as well, I believe, in Bangkok, so that didn't work out too well for them. So yeah, interesting new comp once again for Team Liquid, reinventing themselves against FUT. Will it be enough? We'll find out, and that's why we send it over to our casters.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, we get a new look at the Liquid Lotus here. Both teams reintroducing maps to their pool. We'll see how that goes later on.
Yeah, we will, Hazza, but this is really a really interesting first map. I mean, Team Liquid have played it 4 times, only been able to win it once, a 4th comp that they're playing right now. I mean, FUT have looked excellent on it, so it's a really tough start for Team Liquid.
We all remember the last time they brought a double Sentinel to the fray. That was a 12-0 defensive half. This time around, it's exactly where they're going to try and kick things off. Camo back on the Waylay as well. And as you can see in the middle of your screens, there is a chance, a very probable one, that we make some more history today. With this, of course, being such an important game for both teams in the group, could really shake things up, depending on how things go.
Well, FUT looking to take things aggressively on A. 5 players lined up. Liquid looking to try and actively contest that space as FUT continue forward. It's even so far.
It's a complete forfeiture of this space from Liquid. Barrier mesh goes up for a moment. That's going to stop players flooding out from main. It's tree where they'll head. There is time to set up this post plant and get the spike down quite comfortably. But Liquid are already trying to interrupt this.
Oh, look at this. Straight in. Players getting tagged up. Kiko next on the kill feed. That's combining the last 2 remaining players for FUT and Tree. An advantage for Liquid to work with. to send the pistol round home. They'll get the first one on Lotus.
Liquid had been struggling with their pistol rounds up until this point. 33% win rate for them. We're bringing ideas to the table with this double Sentinel yet again. That now makes it 13 rounds with no defeats as long as they have had both of those Sentinel players on their comfort pick.
And I think the thing is, though, when you watch Liquid's pistol round, they always have an idea, they always have something to work with. You think of the Fracture last week that they played against BBL, yeah. They had a nice little play with the Vise wall combined with a tail.
Right there.
Lots of thought being put into this, and in terms of this round, well, it's Zeus on this Outlaw buy. Again, we saw him do it a couple of times against mates. It can be a backbreaker, but you need to land both shots against the heavy shielded opponent. Serial surviving on 10 HP, and Camo locking down the A space. More fights for him to take. That seems not to be an issue right now.
You can see the intentions with FUT as well. They want to keep fighting. They want to be using this utility to set players up. Krax has found a little space. Managing to get rid of Camo, but Serial's quick, ready for the trade.
Veto stuck in the corner. He'll get taken down, and so it's only Mr. Fallen left. FUT not really achieving as much as they maybe would have liked in this round. Orb towards C. Other than that, Liquid showing how quick they are to react to any presence put towards A. You look at this composition with Zeus on the Jet, it is so reliant on those openers. But when you have, the Gravnet on cooldown now and all the extra utility, it feels oppressive even at the best of times. So Serial shutting things up, that's Liquid converting fairly cleanly.
Yeah, the combinations as well, through a lot, like a chat on Twitter that I saw has with like talking about the Deadlock, Gravnet combined with the tail. I know we've seen different ideas of how to combine the tail utility. All in all, I was really happy to see Serial get a nice little nice round there as well. He's a player that struggled, but week to week seems to be improving and settling into this Liquid roster.
Sound sensor out.
This time, Sentinels are separated, and it's the first time we see the Cypher setup on A. Paranoia coming out early just to try and feign the possibility that Liquid were interested, but the bodies are on B right now. And it's in these mid-rounds where on their defender's side before you'd maybe struggle to see that proactivity called by Nats, but now we get a look at it, and already FUT cornered towards C, but it's only Serial there.
Needs to make sure he doesn't get caught out. He's just caught by his own utility, actually. The players try to make their way in, a lot of spam. Serial, he needs to try and hold on. A little bit of delay for the rest of Team Liquid to get into position, which they do.
Look at the barrier mesh as well, towards Bend. It's actually cutting off any players moving into position, so the spike is stuck. They're in the crosshairs of Liquid, and one by one they will be toppled. Krax finally finding some impact, but he's still got 3 more kills left to find to deny this bonus. And so Liquid will send it over the line with some comfortability.
Exactly, with comfortability, and I think that's the key point. Usually on bonus rounds can get a little bit spicy, but so far Team Liquid have a great idea of how they want to play this. FUT almost fallen prey to the conditioning on A with the fact that Team Liquid are being proactive, fighting that, and then again going and clearing B main, knowing that it's going to be C. And then it's just easy from there, realistically, and I think Serial does really nice to delay on the C site.
Something we're going to have to keep tabs on, because it was very nearly exposed there. The barrier mesh was working overtime. Taking a look at this round, FUT not with all too much. Again, these defaults heavier towards the C side, and that all spins back to Yetajay. You're going to see him here so often, lots of times without backup, so the fact that there are players by his side could potentially fake the amount of presence if he does just show face.
Oh, Kiko.
Straight in.
Yeah, he's caught here, no chance, and that's an upgrade for Zeus to work with, not a player that you want to get that upgrade if you're a Team Liquid fan. Nats, I mean, he's getting put under extreme pressure. The rest of Team Liquid not in position really to support.
Immediate response with the ult though, and so that's going to allow Liquid to come flying back through. With the hinder landing onto Mr. Fall, and the salvos will confirm their target. 2 on 2, only the 1 upgrade on Zeus. He's got to be the man to do it all for them right now. But whether he leads with ACS globally or not, it is a team performance from Liquid on the way back through as the retake is successful.
Extremely successful. I mean, on top of that, like, you can see the stuff which FUT can work with there, but the retake is absolutely spot on. So we just see this eco shut down by Liquid as well, and they rack up yet another round on this defender's side. I think it's really important that we focus on what Lohan was saying before the game, and that the map pool feels to be in a good place for them right now, because when you counter that with FUT, they have the highest map win percent of any team in the league right now at 67. So, as I say before, they're very off-meta with this Jet, and so again, you go back to a rehearsed opening on A, but it's against that Gravnet once more. Yeah, and the space taken of Camo already deep on towards Rubble. That's a captain. He's TP'd all the way towards A Heaven. This is a spot to work with. I love this, just sensing that Liquid were trying to play this one forward, so he's right in the backlines and still they're searching. All up top, well, it's worked out. Now FUT, how can they crunch into the remaining player that was an A main, now gone, Serial and Hobbit.
Sensor destroyed.
He can still hold the line here as well. There's one more sound sensor up towards stairs, so for the most part knowing that FUT playing closer towards the site as things stand, Liquid flooding in through the backside, looking to bury a couple bodies on the way. Kiko the first of them, but FUT responding in kind. Zeus helping support at a captain, and now with twice the player numbers, FUT are starting to look elsewhere. They fire off in unison, putting Patatek in a 1 versus 4. A recovery on the rifle round, looking ever more likely. Patty was a player last week who was able to have highlight moments. Will not have it here, as FUT are quickly able to respond. That's their first. It's important that they get on the round nice and early here as well, because you're thinking if Liquid pick up the next, start to arrive at timeout territory. In terms of how they've been playing this defense, they're trying to get on the scene as quickly as possible, because you don't really want to be playing for a set retake with the utility that you have. In the current meta, it is just so oppressive a lot of the times, trying to make those retakes happen. That's the first time that FUT engage with the A game and come out on top. Well, FUT now have ultimates in which they can work with. Big ones as well, thinking that Rolling Thunder and the Nightfall. Really good execute ultimates. I like the way that FUT shift their focus as well towards this left-hand side of the map between C and B, pressuring main just a little bit to prevent those quicker rotations and the possibility of crunching through the revolving door. As you can see, there are 4 Liquid bodies on B, but they can't support Nats, and so he has to give the site up. Spike a little bit delayed getting on towards this site. Could still be a fake, but yet she's just walked straight in towards a kill trap, and now the Nightfall invested, doubling down right now. I mean, look at the disconnect. Mr. Fallen's not even on the scene just yet. Well, we're even going to get an annihilation in. Liquid, spot on with the ultimates, spot on with the kills. Everything looks good. It looks great for a round 5 for Team Liquid. Zeus caught in Serial's web and brought down to the ground. A player at the center of the strategy that we've seen brought to yet another defender's side. Lotus, a map which, when you go back and look at it for Liquid in recent times, has presented quite a lot of difficulty for them. I think to the 2 times that they played it in kickoff, from strong signs early on in that lower round against Heretics, to then arriving at Masters on the international stage and not getting any more than 7 rounds against both of the Americas representatives. It has been in the workshop for a while, but this look, seemingly from player to player, fits their skill set exactly. Well, FUT obviously not happy with losing 5 rounds to their lonely 1. Calling a stop, looking to talk about things. And I mean, when you look at their composition, they're really struggling with A. And when you have a breach, when you have a Fade, the utility that they have, you would normally expect for them to thrive, being able to fight in that spot. The 2 players with the most kill impact so far have been Atta Captain and Krax, and they both had a fantastic performance last week out. I think that felt like, you know, a watershed moment for me, at least, with Krax coming under fire a lot over the last year for maybe not living up to his 2023 performance. He's always a player who previously you were trading off the back of him, and I think that's why Zeus fits so nicely into this FUT side with a rifle in his hands rather than an operator. But you've got to be looking at the spacing in these next few rounds, because I think of that C execute that we just saw, and the spike was, you know, well out of harm's way, and there was no one else following up that initial push. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I thought it could potentially be a fake. I mean, we're back towards the A side once again. Again, FUT being really respectful of the utility being put forward from Team Liquid. And then straight away, you get the barrier mesh down.
They found my wire.
Heavy investment from Liquid early on, because once that mesh is gone, it does start to pose question marks about what exactly is going on over here.
Yeah.
The dark cover doesn't allow the rubble cross.
I mean, that's the thing though, if FUT can wait out the utility and break the barrier mesh, coming back in should be easy enough. What utility does Team Liquid really have to win the second fight?
Stealth Drone does look to be the catalyst for this B main fight, engage onto Yetijay, but FUT are starting to take things elsewhere, bypassing the sound sensor. It's a quick skip and a hop from Zeus. With that B main pressure already put on, and now players out in grass, there is a potential for a B split here. So Serial left alone in another isolated position could very quickly come under fire if he's not supported by a Liquid reaction.
Down allows the cross towards Hobbit. There is a sound sensor to work with, and it will activate, buying some time. Camos come straight in, finding three. The players in B main tried to escape, but they only escape into the forever box. It's an end zone flawless for Team Liquid.
That's a fantastic reaction from Liquid, and exactly what you ask of them in that position. Serial so isolated as the B anchor, but the sound sensor does fantastic work. Again, we're commending him for his utility, a player who had picked up half of the field and was showing us some career firsts in terms of agent pool. Stepping into this roster, and so Camo and the rest clean up.
I mean, it's the fact that we've got towards now the 8th round before Hobbit's really been poked and prodded towards. Finding out what the utility looks like towards this A side, and rather than placing just the barrier mesh right now, you can see Team Liquid looking to hang around because FUT tried to re-engage after the first fight last time.
We actually have a double sensor here as well, so if Zeus goes for that same dash, there's a chance he could get caught in the next. Not unless Camo can open up the play once more. 11 and 7 for first duels in the previous series, a stat which he's already added to massively. Patitek will be cornered. The smoke should provide a safe passage for escape. So for back to one with in their hands, unable to get past that first line of defense.
Yetijay still hanging around in B main. No, this is similar to what the last round is, so you can maybe see Team Liquid starting to worry about that, but they don't need to because Serial's got an eye on A main. Now FUT slowly starting to head towards that C side, and this is where the Cypher setup is.
Trap if needed. Cam playing Overwatch, and a paranoia in the hands of Kiko. This one should be as safe as ever if you're Liquid. Extra utility thrown in just to confirm it. Little laboured from Kiko, but Liquid loose and hauling it over the line once again.
Another end zone flawless as well. They're starting to add together. Really struggle on their own map pick as well.
You can see how vocal Nats is becoming after every passing round, feeling as if he's playing around with FUT, toying with them. You look at this map being their pick.
And I think as well with this map in particular that they've picked in, we've seen them struggle on it before, but let's look to...
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like FUT are going for a particularly quick opening here, as the utility by itself is just commanding that respect, at least for another 40 seconds. Do finally, but it's a deeper line that Liquid have already taken.
I'm holding on. Ready.
It's another trap play.
Ultimate. Yeah, exactly, and there's going to be no escape. Usually players can try and jump out, but with the Whaley ultimate, you won't be able to do that. The cam for contact, everything looks perfect for Team Liquid.
To just bounce off what you said before, I mean, FUT had built on that overtime win against Koi, the huge comeback. But they struggled on the attack side massively with a more resounding result against Mates. But there are overbearing issues here, and you're starting to walk into another one. A trap play prepared from minute one. Camo holding on to the Waylay ult. As soon as that cam hits a player, they're going to pull the pin.
Well, here it is, thrown straight into the mix, and Yetijay has no way of escaping. Does FUT, the three players looking to re-engage, and still, though, look at this. Team Liquid out cleanly, and they're 2 to the good.
The spacing of the ults has been brilliant from Liquid. They do still have Kiko's left here if you perhaps wanted to go check what the post-plant positions look like on B, but FUT are walking into an empty site. Liquid happy to give this one away, play with the numbers, and trade effectively. FUT need to take space if they want to give themselves any chance at recovering this.
Perhaps get one back in their favour.
You can't play on the site.
There's loads of players that are elsewhere, isolated. Camo, though, isolates one onto Mr. Fallen and gets another onto Atta Captain. Team Liquid are making this advantage grow round on round.
As I mentioned, while there are issues with the bigger picture, you look at the finer details as well. Even that situation, FUT locked in place when it came down to post. This was a nice aggressive move from Liquid, and another benefit to FUT not having any tape on their opponent when they're a team which, you know, like their opponent, like to feel out what the setup looks like.
And I really love the way that Team Liquid engage and disengage as well, using the Whaley, using the Omen to get out, and
Camo case in point, the light speed. Back to the A conversation.
I don't think it's been much of a conversation.
It's more of a monologue.
Yeah.
Liquid hogging the mic in the karaoke bar as FUT have been silenced so far. Just the one round which they were able to pick up was an A play. That was dropping in behind with Atta Captain, but he goes down on this occasion. And so Serial continuing to add to the Liquid first blood counter.
Have an idea that Serial has escaped in towards Hobbit. No more smokes though, so crossing through these angles is going to make things even more worrying. 3 players seen on the drone. Well, they don't get suppressed. Liquid now no actionable intel, and that's why you're starting to see Kiko move towards the A side of the map.
Also brings up another prior concern that FUT haven't really been able to scale very effectively at all here. Liquid conditioning so much of this space, and as you can see, Serial has his signature back up, the grav net in his hands. It's going to be a direct A execution, which we look for. Zeus, so many times reliant for FUT to come up with the goods, and he'll finally deliver, but it's only one.
It's only one, and Kiko straight back in, and Team Liquid holding on to the advantage. Patty close by, FUT stuck towards the front of site, stunned up. Kiko can't make good of his chance. Can Patty? No, he can't. Now, Serial into the mix, trying to find something. Nash does it instead! A 3K out of nowhere!
Dropping into the pit and leaving his elbows in there as well. FUT caught across the jaw, but not for the first time. That situation where they had a man advantage, but oh so quickly you overlook that position and immediately they get punished for it. Seemed like decent work to start things off. I mean, Zeus had opened up the site for them. They lacked this control, and if you didn't see it the first couple of times, it's Nat with the silent drop when the attention is bought by Serial. Between these two Sentinels, they've been doing everything.
Mr. Fallen and Krax now getting close to their own ultimates, and we're getting towards that latter stage of the first half where they're going to realistically need to be used now or in the next round. Utility through the A fight seems to be equal right now, although Camo's not done.
Huge kill for him because the refract is back up, so if he wants to keep getting aggressive, he can. Instead, Liquid are having bodies dropped on their doorstep, still warm. As Krax has managed to loosen Patatek's grip on the A site hold, it's onto Camo to do it all.
At least to get something there, it's not going to work out. This is a 2v2 though. That's a rifle upgrade. This is not looking good.
And both initiators have their ultimates, so if you want to respond to any initial contact, you could! It's Nats again! And Kiko, the smoker from the big smoke, sending it home.
I mean, Kiko, Nats, Cats as they've been nicknamed.
It's a 1-2 punch.
Every time, man. But it's not only that. It's the old guard from last year coming up when it's needed, right? I mean, they've been the highest performers on average on this roster.
Something that Liquid have been thinking about a lot, those long-term ambitions. This win, of course, a big step towards the top of the group, and bad news for BBL in the process. But it's a team that we haven't seen make back-to-back internationals since Champs 2023. last year an absentee. So now the final round of the half has 8 ultimates. I'd like to see the analyst desk try and break this one down. It could get chaotic.
This is the time where we get to mention Cadril. Oh, that was my job. Although Team Liquid have went and cleared out B main, being proactive. They've done this the past couple of rounds. We saw them get a pick in the last one. This time round, they have just poked their head out, cleared it, and FUT have scaled all the way up on A in the meantime.
Look at the setup. It is traps towards backside, so Nats is ready for these duels. Beyond the cage, he's dropped in and spotted. Zeus knows about it. It's about to go down.
Oh, this is a really nice Armageddon. It's just watch space. There's so much utility back and forward.
Voice line up the voice line.
Yeah.
Spike down A.
But it's Liquid when the dust settles that pick up all the pieces. They've managed to deny all that space from FUT. I mean, it was the Armageddon which has done the heavy lifting, and so back to B they go. It's another 4v2. This time, I want to see them take some ground. You can't sit idle, or Liquid will make this 11.
But Yetiji is watching towards heaven. At the same time, Camel's walked in towards Waterfall.
Big 1 versus 1 in that position. Atta Captain needs to do something here to give FUT any kind of a platform. The infallible form that they previously posted is looking like a completely different conversation today. Atta Captain, first of those kills. Yetiji in support, but it's Serial at the death as he starts to write out FUT's own obituary. 11 rounds in 1 half, taking their total in the last couple sky high.
Spike down A. Last player standing.
Welcome back. You join us in what could be a very short second half, something that you and I seem to have gotten used to. A couple of 12-0s and now an 11-1. But if you think back, one of those was literally the last map that Liquid played. They've won 23 out of their last 24 Defenders-sided rounds. This double Sentinel has been such a good look, but for FUT, on their own map pick, so much work to be done to recover this.
One thing to note was when Team Liquid moved on to the attack, when they played double Sentinel on Ascent, they were only able to win 20% of rounds, right? They struggled on their attack. Can they make good of that this time round? Sure, they only had to play a couple, right, to finish out the map, but you get the idea.
Zeus will have to siphon powers from the skies above, and it starts in the worst way possible instead. Camo's the lightning as the electricity flows through his veins, taking all power for himself. It's a 4-kill opener with Serial shutting it down. The pistol over in an instant as it's an in-zone flawless.
It seems like Team Liquid week to week are getting stronger and stronger, and I think it's embodied by Camo now stepping up to the plate. 22-6, an absolute madness in the opening round. And FUT, well, they're going to try and bring out a couple of stingers, heavy shields, something to work with in this potential last round. Look at this A fight and the amount of bodies there.
No point saving any credits. Camo right out the gate, another kill added to the tally. Heads starting to roll. as FUT have fallen well short of the mark here. They trail in players, in rounds, in bloody everything right now.
I mean, on the defense, where do you even try and go, right? Where do you even try and find something back in the conversation?
Looks like it might be into the Outlaw. Mr. Fallen, at the very least, has the cam towards C and also the trap wire to play off. So there is information towards the other side of the map. If you have any hope of FUT finding this one, it is coming from a hero play. And as Mr. Fallen gets his fault line back up, it's a full utility belt to try and challenge. Can't wait for Yetajay. Has to take matters into his own hands, the captain.
Up close and personal. Camo was already low. Disengages to get the reload off. As the players walk forward, they'll collect another. The last player remains for FUT is Yetajay.
Coming back from Masters, Liquid, having played more rounds than any other team in the region, only just shy of the 2 finalists from Bangkok. But as that development process continues, it seems like they found another winner. 13-1 on Lotus, a dominant display as Liquid look to return to form with a very clean performance.
It was extremely clean, Hazza. And with that being said, though, we'll need to see if they can be as clean as we move into map number 2.